Hello, everybody. Magma Lily here. This isn't the third take of this at all. Anyway, today we are going to be watching a challenge that I did, and I wanted to give it some audio to kind of go over it and overall just express what the hell is going on. So here is my challenge, the Joy Creation, but we do all the achievements in a single run. Now, The Joy of Creation is a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game that was really popular when it came out originally, and then immediately it came out with a almost free roam game of itself. It was the Joy of Creation story mode, and so now Nixon and his team is coming out with another game, and this is the demo of it. So the Joy of Creation is um, it only has one night so far, but it still includes our favorite cast of characters, Freddy, Foxy, Chica, Bonnie. So with all of those characters, there are plenty of achievements to be had in this one little night of a demo. Because this is on Steam now, all of his other stuff's been on Game Jolt as far as I'm aware. So today, I decided that we were going to beat all 8 of the Steam achievements in just a single run of the game. Now, that might be a little hard to fathom because one of the achievements is to die 10 times. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. So we had to make a sacrifice with at least one of them because we couldn't do that. We can't die 10 times and one dying ends it. So we just couldn't do that. Don't worry about it. Um, but basically, all that means is we had to do as many achievements as possible. And one of the achievements is or some of the achievements clashed, and specifically one of the achievements that clashed was I had to run out of power and I had to be able to win. And again, those are opposite functions, so they couldn't be done at the same time. Um, so basically, all I had to do was make a decision. Now, eventually, I did result in on running out of power, and that's because there is a third achievement that I wouldn't be able to do if I won, called Taking the Coward's Way Out. And basically, what Taking the Coward's Way Out means is that I try to Alt F4 when I run out of power. And so I decided to go for 6 out of the 8 achievements, the only 2 that I couldn't do being to die 10 times and winning. So the achievements that we did get done, and I will check them off as the video shows itself, and this video is at 4 times speed for the sake of me doing this voiceover, and I do plan to upload just it as it is normally. But basically, the achievements that we aimed to do were running out of power, eventually, the futile achievement, taking the coward's way out, you trying to use a dead flashlight, getting punched in the face, and of course, the reason that there's numbers in the top left is we had to replace 100 fuses in this game. And now you've seen me change a couple fuses here, and that's what the number at the top corresponds to. It corresponds to how many fuses we have actually replaced during all of this. So that's the only way I could keep track of it, and that's just how it is. And you might even notice that the audio cuts out every time I do replace a fuse. That's because the software that I had to set up the number and the counting basically was a little finicky, so almost every single time I change a fuse, I double check to make sure the counter is accurate. But overall, I did a little extra at the end, as you will see, just to confirm. So overall, we did all of that, or did we? I don't. Maybe this is just video. I don't know. Now, the way that this game is played is the 4 casts of characters. Let's start with the most iconic, Freddy. Freddy is the way you advance the gameplay. Basically, he will appear in the camera, and you will have to go to the corresponding location in your room and shine the flashlight in his face. And obviously, since we're not really trying to win, we can pretty much ignore him. He doesn't kill you. He he does almost nothing except give us an opportunity to flash the wrong side of the room, which I might have neglected to mention, but I'm mentioning it now. But basically, that achievement is as basic as it sounds. Freddy will be on the left or the right of the area, and you just flash the side he's in on, and he'll run away like a little girl. And then basically all we got to do from there with Freddy is nothing. We can almost completely ignore him. Now, Bonnie is very similar to Freddy, but he is like an anti-Freddy, mechanic-wise, meaning that if you flash Bonnie, he will punch you in the face. And if you even look at it in the camera, he'll punch out the camera, meaning that it runs out of power and you have to replace the fuse. So we don't want to do that. So Bonnie is not something we want to look at, and Freddy is almost something we don't care about. Now, the two most dangerous ones in this are Foxy and Chica, because if we did leave them alone, they would kill us. Because Foxy's whole shtick is that he appears in the camera, and I have to look at him directly in his nose, almost between his eyes, with the camera. And I have to do that about 4 to 6 times each time, as you can see. Basically to just make him flash away, and then he'll be back in like 45 seconds. So it's a constant thing. And in fact, throughout this entire challenge, I ended up doing this a total of about 75 times. I had to look, and I had to find, and I had to deal with Foxy a total of 75 times across an hour and 40 minutes that it took me to get all 100 fuses replaced. So that happened, and then you might have noticed Chica enjoys popping out of my ceiling. Now, the way to get rid of Chica is she will spawn a bunch of her little demon cupcake children, and I simply have to flash them with the flashlight, and they will disappear. And this is how you survive, is you just take care of Foxy, take care of Chica. Now, Chica doesn't come as often as Foxy, but he does come around quite often still. But overall, it's just a lot of maintenance to not only keep myself alive with the animatronics, but to keep all my cameras and the power and my flashlight available. Because that's what the fuses that I have to find are about the room are used for. They're used to keep the cameras on, they're used to keep the power on, and they are used to keep my flashlight on. If I didn't have my flashlight powered, I wouldn't be able to flash the cupcakes. If I didn't have my cameras powered, I wouldn't be able to locate Foxy. And if I didn't have the main power on, I would simply die. But that's the objective towards the end of this, is we have to run out of power. Now, as I just stated, the fuses require constant maintenance, meaning that right at the beginning, we had to empty our flashlight, which we did. And so that was an achievement in itself to try to use an empty flashlight. So basically just run your flashlight out of battery and then immediately attempt to flash it. And it won't work. And then getting punched in the face means to flash Bonnie, and he will get angry and knock both you and the flashlight battery out. So we kind of have to sacrifice our flashlight real quick at the beginning. And then for Foxy, we'd really just have to keep him happy, and then there's no achievements involving Chica either. But I did run into quite a fear of Chica, because I didn't know if I ran out of power while Chica was crawling out of my ceiling, if she would come and kill me, basically. Because all I knew was that if I run out of power, I pretty much am able to sit in my room for like an extra 30 seconds before I get murdered. But Chica, if she's in the ceiling, it would make sense for her to suddenly fall out of it and end me herself, which was a fear, and you will see the result of that fear at the end. So yeah, that was really annoying to learn the hard way. Or was it? Anyway, so basically, all we had to do was replace 100 fuses, use a dead flashlight, get punched in the face by Bonnie, try to not flash Freddy specifically, and to keep ourselves alive through all of it, just to die at the end. Now, this took a total of a few attempts to actually get to this point. I'm not going to share if we actually succeeded in this point, but you can probably guess, or you can assume wrong. I don't care. But yeah, so this was just a fun challenge that I wanted to share with you all, mainly just to show off that um, we can do stupid things, and sometimes we can spend a bunch of time and do all this stuff to just get an unknown result. And we end up also having some mouse problems that occurred occasionally within the challenge because, again, this whole run took an hour and 40 minutes because we had to give the fuses enough time to spawn. And each fuse takes about a minute to 45 seconds to a minute to actually spawn in. So we definitely had a bunch of running around to do, just trying to find fuses in drawers and in cabinets. And the game doesn't, I don't think the game is necessarily built for this type of play because it is supposed to be a shorter night. And I was honestly worried after doing some research that stated that Foxy and Chica get harder as the night continues. This is only half true. They will in fact get harder as the night continues, but they have a limit to how hard they can get. And some tips that I learned through doing this is that Freddy and Chica can be taken care of with exactly the same amount of flashes as the flashlight has before replacing its fuse. And Foxy is, you have time to take care of Foxy between Chica encounters. Like, even if Chica's right dangling from your ceiling, you still have plenty of time to deal with her. She is not that big of a threat as long as you just don't ignore her. Now, there are a bunch of different ways to really go about the whole strategy here. It was definitely kind of all over the place because not only did I have to constantly be checking my monitors for Foxy, I had to constantly be checking the cabinets for fuses and cupcakes. But I did eventually develop a rhythm with the process mainly being to go from my computer to find Foxy, to the drawers directly behind me, to the drawers if I didn't find a fuse across the room, and then to the computers again to check. So it's basically like each action you had to check Foxy almost in between. So like one action would be dealing with Chica, another action would be checking the one side of drawers, and another one would be checking the left side of drawers. And so it was just a rhythm of deciding. The only decision I really had to make was if I had enough time to do a second action before taking the action of finding Foxy, which is quite annoying, honestly, to fully flesh out, but it eventually does work. And we did in fact get a rhythm for all hour and a half we did this. And I cannot state enough that we did this for an hour because this is not the first fully fledged attempt. I had my very first attempt, I got to fuse 106 and decided on accident to sort of neglect Foxy because I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I officially did it. Except I didn't because we were going for more than just 100 fuses. And so I even thought about it. Hey, maybe the video should be the 100 fuse challenge. And you know what? If you read the title, you'll know how it ended up. So yeah, overall, the video turned out pretty well. This is the video. I hope you're enjoying it, by the way. Let me know if you think this type of style of going over my challenges is a little underdeveloped. And just in general, what you think I can do better. I do plan on uploading the full, like, normal speed, no audio, minimal, if any, editing challenge run of this, just to give everyone more of an idea of what the hell's happening. Because it is really fast, and I've apologized, but I don't know if I can talk for an hour and a half watching this. There isn't that much to talk about. But overall, I hope you do, in fact, enjoy and perhaps even subscribe just to, see what we come up with next. There are a bunch of challenges in the works and a bunch of projects. But obviously, we got this one to deal with. So another thing that I learned while playing through all of this is that I fully was able to keep track of the cameras the entire time. I don't think I ever had a camera run out unless I accidentally grazed over Bonnie, which, by the way, Bonnie can sometimes be so close to Foxy that you can just, if you flick your mouse over a little too far, Bonnie will mess up your camera while Foxy's in it. And although that is technically a deadly circumstance, it is not game over. You do have enough time, as long as you're on Foxy decently enough and that happens to you, you'd probably have enough time to go find a fuse, replace it. And if Chica's dripping from the ceiling while all of that goes down, I'd deal with her last. She gives you a very big window of opportunity to do things. And as you have probably been seeing, it is also, Chica is a great excuse to find fuses. You pretty much go through every drawer anyway. You can flash her with your flashlight along the way. It's just overall a good excuse to find fuses as you work to get rid of her cupcakes. So doing this whole thing across 100 minutes for 100 fuses, I did end up dealing with Foxy about 73 times. I tried to count, but I felt like I messed up each time. So let me know down in the comments if you can actually count out how many times I dealt with Foxy. And then Chica, I did about a total of 27 times. I dealt with Chica 27 times, which in itself is 27 fuses worth of flashlight power. So it's a lot to manage as you go through the whole game. And there are a lot of threads around the internet, apparently, that are talking about an endless mode for this game. I would say number of fuses replaced could be the endless mode if it never officially happens. Because I literally, if this game had a counter in it, it would be the same thing. Like, how many fuses can you replace before you die? Or how many Freddy's can you flash before you die? Obviously, you can only get up to 11 before you end the game at 12. But overall, this game can go on for literally forever. And I bet I could go for 1,000 fuses if I want. But if each fuse takes about a minute to spawn in, that would be 1,000 minutes of my life doing this exact same rhythm. And after the attempts it took to get to this point of this game, I don't think I really want to do that. But I am very curious to see how the full game develops, because once again, this is a demo. If you are interested in playing it yourself, I will put a link to the Steam page in the description. But it really does take some getting used to with the rhythm, and it does take some time to understand the full mechanics, which is why I tried to explain them here. And then I haven't really given you much time to notice, especially because it's sped up, but as you slowly run out of power, the game does sort of warn you by flickering the lights. And so it does warn you. It's not just like hey, you're dead now. And what doesn't make sense to me at all is if you are in the fuse box when the lights go out, you will still die. You pretty much lights out equals you're dead. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if your fuse is in your hand. Like I wouldn't say it's the most important thing. Well, actually, yes, it is. It is absolutely the most important thing to keep on top of, because it's never in the forefront of your mind, because you're probably more anxious about the scary fox and the leaky chicken just coming out of your ceiling, about to ruin your whole experience. So overall, I would say the list of priorities to keep on top of is have a fuse, if you can, in your hand when you're playing. And then if you see the lights start to flicker, it doesn't matter if Chica's coming, it doesn't matter what's happening, go replace that, because you have about 10 seconds maybe after the lights start to flicker before you're just straight up dead. And that is quite a dangerous thing to be dead. You know, dying is not good for your health. I'm pretty sure it's actually the worst thing you could do for your health. So yeah, if you want to survive, make sure not to die. That's my biggest advice to give to anyone. But overall, when it comes to this game, once you understand it, I don't think it's hard at all. I did it for, again, an hour and 40 minutes. I don't know why I keep repeating it, but it's just true. I'm proud of it. And I'm proud to share that I was able to do all of this with you guys. I'm proud to share that. Because we did, in fact, do a bunch of achievements in the one run of the game. We got 100 fuses. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of all of it. I definitely think that a lot of this could be done faster, most likely, because I wasn't like super on top of the fuses. I mean, I check as much as I do, but almost every time I check for fuses, I find a fuse. And if I was checking more often, I would probably find no fuse. So if I actually knew when a fuse spawned in, I would probably definitely be able to do this a lot better / faster. And so the scariest part is when all three of the things that you need to keep on top of are happening. So as you saw, I had to do with Foxy, and then the power, and then Chica. So it definitely does get tense, especially when you're this far in. Mainly because you don't want to lose just to redo it all. And I did think about technically being able to do a 7th achievement, dying twice specifically. The way you would do that is just letting Bonnie punch you in the face 10 times in the challenge, and then you could even almost win if you flashed Freddy 11 times. So there are definitely ways to make this challenge better or more difficult, or just overall it can be harder. I'm not saying I will do it, but these are ideas for anyone that wants to. So yeah, it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's rough. It's just pretty tense. The game definitely stops being scary after so long. Not that it is necessarily scary. I mean, it is a horror game. The animations are kind of snappy, which you tend to enjoy sometimes when you're going through things really fast. If I had to give any more tips to this game, it's that you shouldn't just use your mouse. You should use your keyboard, obviously, to move around. But obviously, you can switch through your cameras with just your keyboard, so you don't have to click out and click back in. And then if you have seen Markiplier's videos on this game, you would not see him use the window, which you saw me use at the beginning. And you can, in fact, go out and look at that window. So there is even a speedrun category called Markiplier %, where you simply don't use the window. And I find it quite hilarious. But as we approach the end here, I just want to say thank you guys if you watched this whole video. I hope to do more challenges like this in the future. Not so sure about the sped up format, so please give me some comments down below on your feedback. If you absolutely hate this style but like the challenge, I can definitely try my best to fix that. But yeah, I can only do so much with knowing what you guys want. So please communicate, tell me what you want. Trust me, I'm willing to bend. I'm very flexible. This entire challenge video was almost canceled entirely after even doing the challenge, just because I didn't know how to edit it, and I was worried it was going to be bad. And so I just went for what was simple for me, which is doing this, and I definitely worried that the video quality suffered. But yeah, this is how it is. You know, it's not perfect, but it would have been less perfect if we didn't make it at all. So I definitely hope some of you guys enjoyed the Spooky Scary Challenge game. It definitely takes me a while to get to fuse 6 because I'm very scared of running out of power with Chica in the ceiling, and that's why I end up switching out a few times. And you know, maybe I missed a fuse here and there too, which is why I do end up going for 106, as I mentioned earlier, simply because I just don't want to be able to ruin my run by somehow not getting all 100 if I like missed hitting the button, or if I hit the button multiple times. This is mainly just my security, or the security of it, making sure that I am able to stay on top of everything. But as we approach the end, our power begins to dwindle, and our friends come to play, and we learn the hard way that Chica will do this. This, my friends, is the sound of victory. That is me hitting Alt F4 in an attempt to take the coward's way out. And so we have officially won through losing. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Have a nice day.